Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel. Today I thought I'd make a video about the shopping trip that I've just made to Aldi. I thought because of what was going on in the world at the moment, which there is no good news I don't think, is there, as we could all probably agree, that there's been talk about food prices going up again, and that doesn't surprise me really. They're certainly not going to go down. So I thought I would get a few stocks in just in case they go up, because if they are going to go up, this will be the cheapest that they'll be for a while. All the things I've bought are shelf stable, apart from a couple of things which I'll talk about in a minute. I just bought those because I needed them basically. But everything else doesn't need to go in the fridge except for two things which I'll put in the freezer. But basically most of it is canned or dried stuff, and it can just be stored in a cupboard or a box under my bed or something like that. But it gives me a little bit of peace of mind that I've got some stocks in should, something happen. But it's not just about, the zombie apocalypse coming. It's about the fact that I can't work at the moment. So, my income's down. I want to be able to buy food that I know I'll use, but at a decent, our price is decent at the moment, debatable, but at the current price rather than if they all go up again in the near future. And also, depending on what happens with my results of my MRI for my knee, if I end up having to have any surgery, which will put me out of action completely for a while I'm recovering, then I know I've got food and stocks in the flat and that I'll be all right. I did a video a little while ago about stocking up on non-food items like paracetamol, ibuprofen, shampoo, antiseptic cream, that sort of thing. So I'll link that video and you can go and watch it if you haven't already. So let's get on. I'll show you what I bought, tell you how much each thing cost and how much it was in total. So the first thing I bought was 2 tubes of tomato puree, and they were 59p each. They don't need to go into the fridge until they're opened because they've got a foil seal across them. Once they're open they need to go in the fridge, but until then they can just go in the cupboard. I bought some lemon juice, which was 55p, and that's very handy for cooking. You can use it for cleaning, all sorts of things. And until you've opened that bottle, which is sealed, that doesn't need to go in the fridge, but it's a really handy thing to have on hand. And fresh lemons don't last very long, whereas this is good till August 2026. If you don't open it. The next thing I bought was chicken seasoning. Now, if you are doing preps or anything like that, just stocking up just in case, something like this is very handy. It's already pre-mixed. Don't have to use it for chicken. I use it for all sorts of casseroles, chuck a bit in soup, gives it a nice flavour. That was 85p, and that's fine. That stays stored until I need it. I've got one on the go at the moment, so that's a spare. I bought some slightly salted spreadable butter. This is Aldi's own brand, £2.18. Oh my god. This isn't a prep obviously, but I did need it, so I bought it while I was out today. One trip, save on petrol. I also bought a lovely cauliflower. Cauliflower is one of my favourite vegetables, and in Aldi at the moment they have them reduced from £1.19, which they've been at that price for ages, to 99p. And while that's still a ridiculous price for a cauliflower, doesn't seem 5 minutes since they were 69p. I'd rather pay 99p than £1.19. So that's not a prep obviously, but it will be lovely and I will eat that very soon. I also bought a carton of custard, which was 55p. I don't normally buy custard, don't normally eat custard, but I've got some cooking apples, so I thought I'd make a nice crumble, and some custard on the crumble would be lovely. If I decide not to have the custard with the crumble, I can have this in stock. It's good till August 2026, and I'll be able to eat it in the winter. I've got some stewed plums in the freezer, so I could have it with that. It'd be lovely. Knowing me, that will get eaten with the apple crumble that I'm going to make. I also bought 2 rolls of kitchen roll. I try to use cloths and bung them in the washing machine when they're dirty, but occasionally there's yucky jobs that I just don't want to use a cloth for, and I will use kitchen roll. So that cost £1.79, which is a ridiculous price. I'll be using that sparingly, but it is handy to have around the house. I also bought some mixed nuts, 2 packets of mixed nuts, and they were £1.75 each. These are good for snacking, good source of protein. They are quite calorific, but you know, if you're in a push, you need the calories. So nuts are a good thing to have on hand. You can throw them in stir fries or any sort of baking. Also have them as a snack, just in a little plastic bag in your handbag, so that you're not tempted to buy snacks out. Now, nuts are really expensive at the moment. They've gone up so much, but I find that Aldi and Lidl, you know, their prices are reasonable in comparison to a lot of shops. So they are good till May 2026. I can't decide whether to open the packets and put them in an airtight jar. They might last longer like that, I don't know. I'll have a think about that. In the same theme of snacks and an energy boost, I bought 2 packets of Everyday Essentials fruit and nut mix, and that was 59p per packet. So obviously, if you have allergies to nuts, you wouldn't want those, but for anybody who is okay eating nuts, then that's quite a handy thing to have on hand for calories and snacks should you get munchies. I bought 4 tins of chickpeas in water. I love chickpeas, they're great. Chuck them in salads, curries. I put them in casseroles to bulk out the meat if you're not a meat eater. Really good source of protein. They're 49p per tin, which is pretty good. I could buy them dried and soak them overnight and cook them, but you know, I'm too lazy, let's face it. So having a tin is really handy, and they're very versatile. You can make hummus as well. Really good, high fibre, high protein, and I just love them. They're great. So I bought 4 of those at 49p each. I bought 4 tins of Everyday Essentials chopped tomatoes. I think they've got slightly more juice in them than the sort of more expensive ones, but I don't really mind that. I've got the tomato puree to give it a bit of punch and thicken it up, and if it needs thickening up even more, then I can add a potato or some corn flour. But they're really handy to have on hand, but they're great. You know, and they were 45p per tin, which is not too bad. So 4 of those, and then I bought 2 of the Everyday Essentials peeled plum tomatoes. I like plum tomatoes. You know, I could use them the same as chopped tomatoes. Just put them in a sauce for pasta or whatever I'm making. But you can also have these, just heat them up and have them with a cooked breakfast or on toast. I love them. I think they're really nice, and it just makes a bit of a change from the chopped ones. I think they have slightly more flavour because they're plum tomatoes rather than, you know, the normal round tomatoes. So I like those. And they were, did I write it on the tin or did I skip that one? No, I skipped that one. They were 45p per tin as well. The next thing I bought, which has gone up in price so much, it's shocking, is ground coffee. Now, I do like my fresh coffee in the morning, and sometimes I will have decaf coffee in the afternoon or the evening. I don't need any more stimulants, otherwise I won't go to sleep. Now, compared to, say, you know, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Tesco's, Aldi and Lidl ground coffee is a very good price. But I remember when these bags they were like £1.69 each, and they have now gone up to, have a look, £2.89. So £1.20 increase. That is shocking, isn't it? Yeah, if it keeps going up, then I will have to reduce my intake of coffee, which will upset me a lot because I love coffee. You know, compared to some brands which are probably £4, £5, £6 for a bag this size, that's not a bad price for these days, but still a huge hike. So I got 3 of the decaf ones because I drink more decaf coffee than I drink regular, and 2 of the Italian style. And then the last thing I have to show you is this, which I don't normally buy fresh tuna because it is so expensive. If I eat tuna at all, oh god, there's sweetie wrappers in that, you don't want to see that, do you? If I eat tuna at all, then it will be tin tuna. But I do like fresh tuna, I must admit. Now these go out of date on the 15th of September, so they'll be going in the freezer. But they were both 50% off, and you hardly ever see fish in Aldi or Lidl at a reduced price. I think they obviously sell it, they don't overstock it, so it's not very normal to have it reduced. But 50% off was brilliant. The original price was $4.99 just for one piece of tuna that size. Crazy price. But with the 50% off, I got them for £2.50 each, which, yes, it's still quite a lot of money. I appreciate that. But as a treat, every now and again, you know, I wasn't going to turn it down for 50% off. So they will go in the freezer, and I'll just get one out every now and again for a special treat and really enjoy it. So that was my haul. I don't really call myself a prepper. I'm not really a prepper. I just like to have a few things in stock so that I feel, you know, comfortable that should something bad happen, then I have food in the house. And if the prices are going to go up, I'd rather buy it now than later. That came to a lot of money, but it will last. It's, I mean, obviously coffee's a pricey thing, isn't it? And the tins, they last a long time. I don't know what the dates are on them. Let's have a look. 2026 for the tomatoes, 2028 for the chickpeas, so that's a really long time, isn't it? Okay, so the total for that amount is an eye-watering £39.85. Oh, yeah, so even trying to get ahead of the price hikes, it's still a lot of money, isn't it? You know, it's really tough at the moment, but we do what we can. I've got some veggies from the allotment, although that's winding down now. I've got some potatoes and a courgette to use up, and some tomatoes. So that helps, but yeah, we have to be canny about what we buy and how we use it, make it stretch with, you know, things like chickpeas, and yeah, do the best we can. So that was my shopping haul. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I would love you to come over and join us. Okay, I will see you next week. Bye for now.